Hold your applause until the end.
Yep. I was coughing, acting up on the lung, all that jazz. Well, I only lost 2 kidneys and a lung, but, you know, I still got the other one and hauling around this portable defibrillating machine, so it's all good.
You never really needed those organs anyways. The need for organs is a lie infatuated by the government, so don't worry.
Exactly. They're just excess meat.
I'm sorry. That sounds like something Shade would say. I'm kidding. Oh!
We lost. This is America. No one ever loses weight unless if they are insane. Exactly. Woo! Hey, I'd totally be up for that one of these days. That sounds great. I would totally do that. I got a few friends that would totally be into it as well.
Okay, see you later.
See you, sir.
So, you have just tuned in to the Sarf Only podcast, the podcast where it's only Sarf all the time. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Hold your applause until the end,
He's a
please.
really good guy. It's really funny. Knows how to keep you engaged. Know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, then that'd be the Sarf Only show.
Sarf on Sarf. Face off.
Sarf on Sarf. Which Sarf's on top?
That's my kind of sandwich. And this is how we lose endorsement from certain radios that shall not be named. Okay, they don't listen anyways. You're gonna have to censor this.
Censor it all. Yep. Exactly. Just throw chickens in there. Like one time I went to the North Carolina chicken, and then they caught me for chickening the chicken. Yes, I did. It was a farm where planes fly. It was fun.
Maybe you should have just gone to the old file, cut out that bit where he told the story, and then sent that to Fano.
There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd be worth it, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd totally be worth it. In fact, just get me on a live call with Fano. I'll tell him the story one on one. That's fine. I'll type it out for him. Don't worry, you won't be a virgin to the story anymore.
Uh-oh. Really?
So they they censored OMFG by just making it OMG.
It's just a letter.
Well, that yeah, that is rather silly. Although it does remind me of probably my favorite censoring that I ever seen in my life. You guys know the movie Dumb and Dumber, right? You know, Jim Carrey and that other dude that I don't remember the name of. Well, you have terrible taste, but anyways, they. I'm kidding. But it's a pretty popular movie here in the States, and they like to play it for TV. But there's some parts that, aren't really censor friendly. Mainly just cussing and whatnot, no big deal. But there was this one TV adaptation that was hilarious, where they're handcuffed to the bed in this presidential suite and about to be killed, and the two characters are yelling at each other, arguing and whatnot. And it's just like the one scene, Jim Carrey's character yells, "Kick my ass." Can I say that word on there? I don't know. Okay, so okay, take this in the donkey reference. He just yells at the top of lungs, "You can kiss my ass," something like that. That's in the original script. But for this version, for a TV version, they couldn't say that. So here's what they said. "You can kiss my sandwich."
That's their censor?
That was their censor. "You can kiss my sandwich."
Fantastic.
"You can kiss my sandwich, Shade." Isn't that just a load of chicken sandwich?
I'd like to be the first to say, I'll kiss you a sandwich any day.
Good thing I got a sub sandwich, if you know what I mean. 12-inch.
If anyone asks, we're talking about real sandwiches. That's a nice sandwich you've got there.
Yeah.
What is that, cheddar? I really
Nah,
do.
nah, it has slits in it. You can see the hole.
Oh, okay, okay. Is that ham or turkey? Oh God, there's mayo everywhere. That took you a second. I was waiting. Okay. Someone has to take it one step too far.
And remember, if you see ketchup, you should contact your doctor immediately.
The bread is toasted for more than 4 hours. Call a physician.
You just cut around the corners.
Carmine 1-1. Cut around. I like to cut the crust off. So what you're saying is make sure not to come into contact with other unprotected sandwiches.
Exactly.
This is such a heavy episode. Mature content warning right here.
Well, mature content warning for completely different reasons now.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. What?
That is rather
I feel terrible for laughing, but what? Very vaguely, by extension. I mean, that's fair. I mean, hold on. There's nothing wrong in his head apart from being American. Oh!
Oh, snap. Oh, wow. Hey, you know, Canada's part of the continent of North America, so you can be considered American, my friend.
Sorry, United States of America. If you didn't claim such an ownership over it, it wouldn't be such a problem.
Hey, we own it. You're just our fancy hat, okay? Well, last I remember, you're like, what, Belgium's hat?
Oh, you need to learn your geography because Belgium isn't underneath. It's kind of to the southwest.
Hmm. So it's Belgium trying to be gangster and wearing its hat on its side. So does that mean Belgium is the Netherlands' pants?
That works. I was going to say the Netherlands almost looks bigger than Belgium. Meth is a hell of a drug.
Indeed. Hmm. That's pretty tragic.
I didn't
Don't
hate
worry.
the episode. I think we can keep on to that till later.
It was an absolutely wonderful episode, in my opinion, so I think we'll be good.
We got 4 whole emails. That's more than one. That's more than none. That's 4 more than 0. Yes, it is.
That is at least more than 3.5.
It's 16 less than 21. Wait, there's only 4, so that would be 20. 2 squared, sure. Yeah.
It's a number.
Okay, first of all, we got some actual fan mail in. Yeah, that's right, fan mail. And he starts off by saying hello, to which I reply, hello.
Wonderful.
And then he says, heard from your last radio podcast, your guys' email box looks like its emails collected blanks. Blank! So I thought I'd pop on by and say I love the station, love the show, and hope you all guys keep up the good work. And I can't say what station he was talking about, but it was a good one. Very bear sandwich.
Very fair. Keep going. You did good, Shade. You did good. Woohoo! Oh. Oh.
Okay, go ahead, Amonitis. Go ahead.
Oh. All right. Well, what I was gonna say is, I like that he's taking small steps and doing things that he feels that are giving him more accomplishments in life. Because I think a huge part of depression is, the overwhelming sense that you're not really doing anything to better your own life, and you're not. And I think inaction is a very huge drive of depression. So if you're taking steps and just doing these things, even if they're small, that make you feel worthwhile and fulfilled in some ways, I really think that is like the beginning of getting out of that. So I do like that part, and I'll comment on whatever after you guys. Hmm.
I definitely agree that setting goals, especially goals that you hold so important, is really crucial to getting out of depression, getting out of that slump that you're in. Yeah, you can cut in. I completely lost my train of thought.
So that sounds painful.
I am now that I've ingested water into my lungs.
Right on.
So I agree with what Shade said, but the one point that I was trying to bring across was that setting goals is really crucial, and I can definitely appreciate that that's what you've done for yourself. Is you've set this high goal. It's something to reach for or strive for, but I think that giving yourself that alternative of if I fail, that's it. It's not really going to make yourself win. As Shade said, it's a constant battle, so while you're driving towards that one main goal, you also need to know how to cope. Eventually, I think you learn enough about yourself that it becomes easier and easier as you go, but you still need to learn and be able to cope with it enough that when you fall down into a rut, that when all of this stuff sort of feels like it's kind of backtracked, that you can still get yourself out of it and still know how to cope.
Right. Mm.
As someone who's actually been to the head brain doctor before myself, for a matter of, I think, about 3 or 4 months, it's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. And I want to clarify that neither really is taking medication. Now, there's a huge stigma. There's a huge stigma around taking medication, and I from personal experience, I know what it's like to also be medically addicted to antidepressants, and it's not a fun experience. But the one thing that they're there to do is not to cure anything. But when you have the serious problem, when it's I want to say in your head, what medication can do is clear your head enough so that you can think, and then you can figure out your problems one by one with a clear mind, and be able to realize that this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Maybe I can fix this. Maybe all of these problems at once aren't so big when they're split up one by one in different pieces. And when you can actually see things from that different perspective, it changes a lot of things. And the head brain doctor is, not such a bad guy. When he's there, when he can help you pick through your head and figure out, kind of where everything goes. Because it gets to the point sometimes that when you let yourself fall into that self-pity for so long, you kind of lose track of yourself, really.
It's a vicious cycle that feeds on itself. Mm-hmm. Not a good place to be. But it's an interesting thing. Even though depression is horrible, it's a comfortable type of horrible that people don't want to get out of.
You fall into the pit of self-despair, and you're wallowing and you're pitying yourself and you feel sorry for yourself. And after a while, you get used to not having to deal with life's problems and being able to just wave everything off by saying, I'm a terrible person, or I'm just not going to succeed anyways.
Or nothing else matters.
It's easy to say that, yeah, exactly, that nothing matters. And you kind of get comfortable sitting in this corner by yourself when every answer to life can be answered basically with the same response, and it's always, nothing matters and I don't care because I don't want to stick around anyways. And I think despite what a lot of people seem to think. It takes a lot of courage to be able to stand up and say, I think I have a problem and I need help. And it's not a cowardly way out to want to go to the head brain doctor or to take medication. It's not a cowardly way out at all. In fact, in my own personal experience, it takes a lot of guts.
I agree fully, man. There's this kind of stigma that, you know, if you go to these kind of doctors that you may be perceived as crazy or not right in the head, but they are there to help you, and, you know, if you need it, then go to it.
Before we go into the next email, Shane made a point a couple minutes ago about, you know, depression comes on because you fall out of your typical routine. That's what you had said a short while ago. Not quite. I'm paraphrasing. However, I kind of wanted to disagree with what you said there because, again, I'm paraphrasing. Okay, okay. So from what did you say then? What did you say? Okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay. Well, thank you for elaborating on that point, and I kind of want to half disagree with you because I find in my own experience that often if life becomes too routine, if things suddenly become too predictable, then that's kind of when I start falling into a rut. And if I'm doing the same thing every day, I start kind of, you know, losing contentment. Sorry? No. But for me, and you know, it's my own personal thing, but for me, I have to have an element of unpredictability in my life. And if I'm not going to be spontaneous and I can't do something spontaneous, then falling into a predictable routine life is just boring and it absolutely depresses me.
It's losing spontaneity and the refreshment of
Okay.
new variety type thing.
So I guess at the same time, I'm agreeing with him then, is what you're saying.
In a sense.
Right. Okay, I think I'm, sorry, go ahead. Okay. 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 If anybody, unless anybody has anything else to add, I'd like to move on to the email. Okay. Well, there'll be time for that later, after the tea and cookies are brought out and the seminar is over. And so this email comes from a friend of mine, actually. And they start off by saying, I'm a 16-year-old British girl living currently in the UK, as I'd imagine that's where British people live. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just, trying to make light of the situation. Fair enough. Fair enough. So depression is a word that today is used quite lightly. I hear people say how they're so depressed about a chipped nail or a bad date, and it makes me upset and frankly annoyed. This is because I suffer from depression. At least I think so. I've never actually gone to a doctor or anything, but I'm fairly certain about it, so no diagnosis. Okay, just gonna skim through. So I gotta paraphrase here. So she says, my depression ties into a few different reasons. Things like failing at education, boyfriend troubles, and parents. The first two I don't really think I need explaining. My parents are lovely people, but we do argue a lot. I mean, and I think that's a typical teenage thing. I don't, True. I don't go a day without doing it. Most people really don't. I don't mean small ones either. They're kind of full-blown, almost spilling into violent ones. Once I stepped up, sorry, this is a spelling error. Once I stayed up all night with a knife, as I feared for my life. Sarf might remember that. I also have another big reason I feel depressed a lot, my gender. See, I wasn't born a girl. In fact, I'm not a girl at all. But I want to be. In my mind, I am. And it hurts me every day when I look at my body. That I know that everyone sees me as a big, ugly boy, no offense. And it gets me down a lot. I haven't shared this with anyone in my life, including my parents. I'm scared about telling them. I fear what might happen. So I don't. I keep it bottled up, which, to be honest, is a bad idea. I sometimes get urges to hurt myself, and I have before. I've tried to commit suicide before, about 3 times. I haven't died, obviously. I never came that close. I guess I'm a coward not telling anyone, but facing my issues, trying to run and die to avoid them. I wish there was a way to make it stop. Quite frankly, I don't have much of a reason to even keep going. I might be dead even before this is even read, and I think everyone would be happy to know that she's actually listening in the live stream right now, so she is still alive.
Yay!
I want to be a girl, and it depresses me I can't be. Sure, bonus, but that's not enough. I want to be a mom, something I very well know I can't do naturally. I've probably been like this since I was about 9, slowly developing the want to be a girl. I used to hardly think about it, but it's much more prominent in my mind now. Depression is a bad word. It makes me sad when people use it. I'd like to tell you my story has a happy ending, but to be honest, I don't know if it ever will. I doubt it ever will. Depression makes me feel alone, and I have a tendency to feel paranoid when I'm at my lowest. I lash out at the people I know care about me. Sarfa's been one of them, and I'm sorry about that. I start to think about friends secretly hate me and talk about me behind my back. Hate me and talk about me behind my back, which makes me feel worse, and then I want to just die or something. It's not good. So depression is not a word to be used lightly, in my opinion. And like I said before, I don't know if the word applies to me. But I'll let the viewers decide on that. I hope this is what you were looking for. And it's useful to the topic. Signed, Zoe. The one and only.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have a SARF, then you're doing something right there.
You know, I said it before, not a few minutes ago, and I want to say it again. Feeling pain is not a sign of cowardice. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of guts to be able to stand up and say, I think I have a problem and I need help. And I think it took a lot of courage for you to actually write in that email, and for that I want to applaud you. It was a very, very good thing that you did. Hmm. I absolutely agree. And I could attempt to ramble on for 5 minutes about, and I mean, I know I've tried this with this exact person many, many times. I could try to ramble about how amazing life is, which it is, and how many reasons why it's worth sticking around. But I think when it boils down to it, the only one that can solve your problems is you. The only one that can stand up and say, I need help, is you. And the only one that can go out and actually try to get help, or try to communicate with other people and actually be able to say that, I need help, is you. But I think it speaks a lot for your case in the fact that before you decide to do any of these things, you were actually willing to come to me, come to other people, and actually say that, I think I'm about to do this. Because I think that deep down inside you, whether at the time you've tried to deny it or not, I think that you want help. I think that you know that there's still things worth staying around for, and you're still here. And I think exactly what Shade said, that I think that you're going to be around here for a while because I believe in you. And I know the other people on this podcast believe in you, and despite how nervous you were about the letter which was being sent in and what people would think of it, I think that the listeners believe in you too. And the person writing in asked at some point that, or at the beginning, she stated that she believes she has depression, but she's not sure. And I think, despite everything, the diagnosis I would give is that you're human.
Uh, you said a lot of really good points, and I will be honest, I was reading the next email a little bit, so I sort of tuned out, but not because I'm mean or not paying attention, just because I want to be ready for the next one. But whatever they said, I have full faith on their judgment. Do what they said, and I love you, and just do good, okay? Sorry.
I'm ashamed and appalled at you, sir.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it is. It is quite hefty. Um, I'm assigned to this mission, and it's quite a doozy. And I will say that I'm not going to read it verbatim because it is long, and even though we tend to run a long time, it's better to kind of paraphrase it. Uh, sure. Okay. I think that will be for another time. Um, all right. Well, are we moving on to this next one then? I'm ready to start, or at least. All right. Do you want me to mention the name of the person on here? Okay. Okay. This is from a person named Moraine. Yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Moraine, who sent us quite a doozy of a letter. It's a very good letter. It's just long, and so I apologize if we're going to truncate it a little bit. Also, I love the use of the word of shizzes. That's really clever. So before high school, I was one of them little shizzes that was full of ADHD and autism. However, I had no friends to use all this energy with. I spent all my free time, even in class, imagining making a fairylands where I was the most important person in the world. Even if I was a group of genetically enhanced soldiers, I was part of the first generation. I would daydream in the car, at school, at lunch, anywhere. Then it nearly took over me. And then it goes into where the fantasies and daydreams actually started becoming real, and Moraine thought that they were an alien. I thought I was an alien. Yes, my brain made me believe I was part of another species of people who were running away from more intelligent, high-tech human species, and so from that, they thought that they were, abandoned on Earth in Alice Springs because of this. So a lot of, let me go to my little Spark Notes things. So they feel separated and alienated from society here. And because of the whole parental thing, Moraine had problems with father abandonment and parental problems. Okay, so, sorry, I'm trying to catch up where I was here. No, it's not. Okay. Okay, so because of this, they started studying a lot because they didn't want to end up like their parents. From, 10 to 12th grade, they did a lot of work and became really high selection, like a selection rank of 61, and the overall position score was 16. I apologize if I don't know what that means off the bat, but I assume that means you did really good in school. Yeah, it sounds really cool. And people from the school was surprised that the loner who didn't really, wasn't really doing anything got into university. And I understand that very well. The kid who didn't want to become part of anything but himself and his fantasies was doing something with his life. Now, more recently, I liked computers. I found them a good way to do something alone than just sit in my room and watch TV. I didn't have internet until the beginning of 2013, and then I started to play online games. I started to try to edit music, but it wasn't enough. Mid-2012, I had grown fond of a game called Warhammer 40K. I was able to paint my own figures, but I was alone. So definitely still a lot of issues with feeling isolated at this point. Let's see. Okay, so it was from this Warhammer 40K thing that a Space Marine told him to listen to a song on YouTube, and he thought through this he was shown the first episode of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, and okay, it's at this point where we get into the introduction into the Brony community. I said, why no? He said, don't judge a book by its cover. At the moment, I thought, why the F not? And I did. Or why the sandwich not, I should say. And and guess what? The first episode was a double feature. Sandwich, even more to watch. Wait, when is season 4? Yes, in 1 week of lonerness, I watched the full show mainly because some guy told me to. But I didn't really know why I was watching this until, okay, a game store was in my town, and I finally was allowed by my parents to go up there every Wednesday night. But what I saw one night was some guy show a video to a few others about. I do not know who it was. Sing a song about ponies. The song was a little weird, and it would be one that haters would show others. He showed the other videos, and they all laughed at the word brony. So what did I do? I actually found out that there's a community behind this little show of ponies. I actually thought I could be part of something. So this is when they, Marianne found the brony community. So that's awesome. And even now, I have an urge of why am I not like the Living Tombstone, or why can't I be that great, or why couldn't I go back to join when this all started? But right now, my life is stable. 2009 to 2011 actually had thoughts of killing myself, mainly because I thought the world was going to end and I would have no meaning to this world at all. I thought I was nothing until I found things. I am still a loner, but I do have friends now. One from primary school who wanted to talk to me, but he was never in my class or never near me, actually found me in grade 12. He actually doesn't care about bronies. His two brothers and his real dad like watching the fan-made shizzle that is posted on the internet. However, they don't really watch an episode. A few up at the game store I go to now got to know me because I go to the same school as them. One of them, one who knows the friend I talked about before, well, he knew me because I went to Air Force Cadets and with said friend. I found this all at the beginning of life, and I wish I could wish to keep it all. But then again, I have slight fantasies again, ones that put me before others, ones that make me think, why can't I go back to the show to show myself all the shiz I could have done to be better? I'm going to say it's technically just, like eubonics, so it works.
Can someone explain that word? Because I'm not understanding it.
It's basically a mispronunciation. Well, not mispronunciation, but it's a eubonic word that means the same as S-H-I-T or
okay.
chicken.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was a reference to something that I wasn't getting or...
Yeah, this is real good shiz. So, okay. So I know everyone does that unless they are Tom Cruise. But now I have found a lot of love of stuff and even beat matching. Oh, good, I found that exciting. Okay. Oh, and did I mention that friends of friends of friends are now listening to my radio show now? Well, for 3 years, I've been part of a local community radio station, and no one knew. Not a single person knew but my parents. Sorry if this all seemed messed up or even out of timeline or space, but I remember things weirdly. When one word world triggers another word, it triggers a memory in my mind. If you would like more, or even other stories that I can remember, ask Tilde Marion, or, well, not Tilde Marion, just Moraine with that weird little squiggly tilde thing.
I don't think he even knows how to pronounce his name, so it's okay.
Okay.
The first question that comes to mind is, if the only people that knew about you having that radio program were your parents, that must have come as a shock to the radio.
Yeah, that would be a bit of an interesting shock.
He's been doing what now?
Oh, there's a little bit more.
Oh.
Right now I have to use the toilet. Good. Why can't I have done this before I type? I don't want to say it on there, but, oh, wait. Sorry.
Thank you for sharing, Ammonite.
You're welcome. Let's not answer that, okay?
In all seriousness, it's really nice to see a success story come out of the mixture of kind of depression stories that we've seen. And while you do have other goals and you still wish to be more like these other people, I think it's still really nice that even though you've achieved as much as you have, to still set goals for yourself. And never stop setting goals. But as Amonitis once said, don't try to be a second-rate version of someone else. Be a first-rate version of yourself. Yep,
I said that, and it sounded better in typing. It sounds better when Sarf says it.
My job here is done.
Thank you. Living tombstone. I think he's all right. Exactly.
Or shizzle.
One thing I want to say, Moraine, I do feel like a lot of what you said I can very much relate to, and I don't want to start listing things off, and I don't want to say it's exactly this way or that way, because it's like everyone already said that everyone's experience and everyone's contributions are going to be different and unique to themselves. But one thing I do want to say that is similar is that I'm glad that you found something to bring you out of what you were feeling. I'm glad that you've had this success story going on, and I really want you to keep going on strong. I really like that, and I do see a lot of my past kind of come out of that, but so I hope that you will continue on this great progressive side of things, and I am more than happy to say that I would love to be your friend, Moraine, as soon as you tell me how to pronounce that name.
Moraine. I've always assumed it was a misspelling of Marion, which I assume that's what it's supposed to be, that he's never bothered to correct, but something along those lines. Anyways, I think this story stands as a fantastic testament to the fact that depression, anxiety, and all that type of stuff, all that weight of life really can be coped with, and you can get past it, and you can keep succeeding despite all of that.
Oh, they say it's Moraine. Moraine. Awesome. Thank you, Moraine. Be authentic to yourself, and you'll never truly be boring. I got a whole treasure trove of personal experience with depression.
And so do I, but I think we've showed enough as far as the whole podcast thing goes since we've started, I guess. That's quite enough. Yeah, that's more than enough.
I do want to say one thing. I'll try to keep it brief. Don't worry. But I do know one thing. I know from personal experience that depression is extremely debilitating, and if you do not keep it in check, it can destroy someone's life. I've watched my mom go from happy, loving person, and then because of many issues, some outside of her control, some within her control, sort of lose touch with reality until the end. And I wish I stopped her before that all happened, and I can't go back now. But one thing really stood out was that the more depressed that she got, the less and less that she did. So, if anything, do set goals for yourself. Do try to make an effort to make accomplishments in the day, even if they're just little. And do remember that there are people that do love you and want to help you, and there's always somebody that can help you if you look for them. So keep that in mind. For me, especially, please.
I think that if you're going through something like that and you're still physically capable and you're still willing of being able to wake up in the morning, I think that says that there's still a small part of you, as small as it may be, that still wants to live. And, you know, as long as you still have that small fragment of hope left, you should always try to nourish that.
You can always be happy, and you can always be awesome.
Okay. Let's let's speed up our analysis, and we'll do it at twice the rate per minute. So we're gonna do 80 words a second.
Hooray!
Uh-oh.
I absolutely love this episode, and it's one of those episodes that got better with rewatches. And this is a little headcanon theory, so I can understand if some people don't agree. But I've seen people say that Applejack was acting way over the top and got hit with a stupid ball, whatever, yada yada yada. And I can understand that point of view, but for me, I think it was very, very much in character with that like subtle nod that we know that their parents have passed away. So I think that it is coming from a point of view where she doesn't want to see Apple Bloom get hurt or is overly worried about that. So to me, it adds that just a little bit more psychological flavor that I absolutely enjoy. Plus, the Chimera was awesome.
I think that theory has merit. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Applejack. Climbing over fences. Da, 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 da. Who is you is Applejack. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was brilliant. I love that. And it was because of that scene that I got a fun little video out of it. Yay. Are you saying something about my favorite episode of season 4 so far? Because I'll respect your opinion.
That song tease was a little painful. I was sad that we missed out on that. Although if that was going to be the song about how it's the way it started, it may not have been a good song anyways. Every episode is his favorite episode. Let's be honest.
My favorite episode is good. You guys are just blind to it. Blind as a bat. Well,
Scootaloo. It was a great episode. Scootaloo in a bow, that was pretty adorable.
Yeah. She did have a stupid moment.
I definitely agree. I think it's kind of a general opinion that Applejack was pretty jarring in this episode. But I think based on what Amos said about it maybe being a kind of a parental thing, and then, Shane made the point that it's also just kind of the nature of the episode. And I kind of agree with both points. So in that aspect, I think it was a fantastic episode. It was a CMC episode. I could never hate that.
Exactly. I agree with you fully there.
And as most of the CMC episodes we've gotten this season, it's been pretty awesome. It was adorable. Yes, crawling into bed, that was pretty adorable. Scootaloo. Yes, you have, and it happened. What else are you going to predict, oh great master? Uh-oh.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, the sheep was done. Although I hate ricotta, so that sheep can eat all my ricotta. Ugh. I do have to say one thing. It's a little bit of fridge horror. Um, but
all fridges, close your ears.
all fridges close your ears. But if Scootaloo didn't blurt out that thing in the bow closet, then Applejack wouldn't have known that Apple Bloom was out there, and Apple Bloom would have been turned into a Philly fillet.
Oh, gasp! So what you're saying is that Scootaloo is the best pony because she just saved Apple Blue's life. I see what you're saying. Apple Bloom just spilled spaghetti all over the floor. That basically summarizes this episode.
Wow.
The what? Yeah, the first
Cajun
thing
ponies.
when I saw that scene, the first thing it reminded me of was Eamon Isis. Being the American that he is.
Well, excuse me, but not all of us are Cajun. In fact, that's primarily Louisiana and a little bit of, the Everglades and Bay Area.
It's okay, Eamon Isis. My dad is part Acadian. And here in Canada, we pronounce it right. It's not Cajun, it's Acadian.
Cajun.
No, it's Cajun. Cajun is a slur for the term Acadian.
Cajun.
No. So Cajun is a slur for Acadian.
Well, that's the term they use down there, and I'm being respectful.
Which is also actually a mispronunciation of the French word Canadien.
So you're saying that the people in the bayou are Canadians?
That's a long and difficult history, but basically goes back to some of the founding French Canadians and how the British didn't like them very much, so they were basically exported all over the place. Most of them on either on the Atlantic provinces or to the kind of the swamps in the U.S., and a lot of them ended up there. And when they arrived there, when they were asked who they are, they call themselves, we're the Cajuns. You know, the Cajuns.
So
it's just a slur of Cajun.
So since the people in the South and Louisiana and the Cajun area are actually Canadians, and you're yourself a Canadian, then that means you are American. Welcome, my American brother.
That's a really chicken logic you've got there. I'll just pull out of the sandwich.
I'll pull it out of my sandwich, and you can kiss it.
I ain't touching your
Kiss
filthy
my
sandwich.
belly meats.
I'm surprised I gave you guys a history lesson.
And Sarv gave us a history lesson.
I'm sorry. Of course you were. Of course. I trust that you already knowing this, you humbled yourself for the viewing and educational experience of the audience and Ammonites. Fair enough. It's just like the one of the Canadian hockey teams from Montreal. I was always confused because they're always the term they're the Montreal Canadiens, and everybody always calls them Habs. They're the Habs, Habs. And for the longest time that confused me, and I figured out the reason why they call the Canadiens the Habs is because it comes from the term habitant, so like les habitants or something like that, which is the term, you know, with the habitants or whatever. Shade, help me here. Yeah, the inhabitants. Thank you. I solved it. So I think. Sorry. By extension, it's just now coming to me. By extension, basically means they're the people, and I think by extension it's supposed to be the French people or something like that. But that's what the term the have.
From the habitat. All the way from the habitat.
I know more about my country than I'm really ashamed to admit. Please don't. It's SoundCloud.com/KnowWho'sBard. That may not be up next month. And I just want to say, if I get a single email about our quote-unquote free healthcare, I'm going to flip a table. And let me start before anybody starts writing.
Oh, jeez.
You pay for it through taxes. It's not free. It's free by extension, but not. You pay for it through taxes. It just means longer wait times. The healthcare sucks. Let's not get into this. Anyways, we are available on several radio streams through the week. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. we are on Alicorn Radio. That's alicornradio.com. Wednesdays at 3 p.m. AEDT at Hive Radio, which is hiveradio.net. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. EST, Celestial Radio at celestialradio.com. Thursdays at 6 p.m. CST, that's Central Standard Time, on Luna Radio, and the website for that is lunaloves.us.
Luna loves us. Yay!
Except you. She doesn't love you anymore.
Right? Fine. I'll go over to Princess Celestia. She's the better pony anyway.
Treason! I can talk about Scootaloo.
Kissing sandwiches.
And remember, kids, don't touch sandwiches without an adult's consent.
Without an adult consent. I think that's still statutory sandwich.
Statutory chicken. Goodbye, like grown-up people.
Okay, bye.